Hey guys, Pretzel here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, this is the second part of my two-part series, me breaking down the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. If you haven't seen the first part, I'd recommend go checking it out. It's a pretty cool video. But anyways, if you haven't seen my first part, I will not be talking about human stuff. It makes it much more easier to do the video, and also the general human stuff is pretty boring. It's what the humans say is what is important, which is what I will kind of discuss. And me talking about this is pretty ironic because the first part that we're going to be talking about is more focused towards a human, but it's what is in the background of this human is what is the most interesting thing. And also the human is pretty interesting because it's our first look at Serizawa's son. So in the first shot we have of the part 2, this is about like in the middle of the video or the trailer. We have the shot of Ren Serizawa's son, which I didn't even know existed until someone mentioned it in a video recently that I watched. I didn't even know Ren Serizawa was mentioned in the Godzilla King of the Monsters novelization, which is when he was announced to be an existing character. So it does seem that Ren is going to be the one behind Apex, because behind him on a giant computer screen there is none other than Mechagodzilla. But this time Mechagodzilla is, kind of like his exoskeleton kind of thing, and he's, on a computer screen. And there's also something like in front of him that says, something about systems and all that kind of stuff. This is probably maybe when Ren is launching Mechagodzilla. I don't know. We'll just have to see what goes on there. But it does seem that Ren is going to be possibly wanting to get revenge on the Titans because his dad didn't, pay attention to him, and, Serizawa paid attention more to the Titans than they did his own son, which is pretty cliche, but I don't know, maybe they'll play it out better than it being cliche, which I don't see how that would be possible, but I don't know, I'm just talking. Or they might do something else and that might not be the case at all, but we'll just have to see when the trailer comes out to know for sure. And then we have a shot of Godzilla in Hong Kong, which looks absolutely amazing. I love that Godzilla is doing his intimidation display. This is obviously his intimidation display because it starts glowing on the top of the dorsal fins, so if Godzilla was doing his atomic breath, it would be at the bottom of his dorsal fins, from the tail all the way up. Well, this is from the neck, so this is, clearly his intimidation display. This might be when Godzilla and Kong first are, about to fight each other in Hong Kong, so Godzilla's trying to intimidate Kong. And maybe Kong will beat his chest to try to intimidate Godzilla, which would be pretty cool to see. And Hong Kong looks beautiful. A lot of neon, like we already knew that this nighttime fight was going to have, which really gives us a lot of light so we can actually see the monsters at night, which is really nice. And I've seen a lot of people compare this to a few shots from Pacific Rim, which is also pretty cool because Pacific Rim is a really, really good film. And the next shot we have is a shot of Godzilla destroying buildings, like the good old classic Godzilla. And this is obviously not what we would see from the MonsterVerse Godzilla, so this ties into more of, Godzilla, something's up with him, and even Mark Russell says Godzilla's hurting people and we don't know why. And also Madison Russell says something's provoking him. So obviously they're rarely teasing that something's up with Godzilla, and there's even more tease to that situation in the next shot that we'll be talking about. But this shot looks really nice, and I want to say that, for those who think Godzilla is the bad guy, which he is a more bad guy kind of figure for the movie. But does seem that if, it looks like Godzilla is evil, but from what we know, Godzilla is doing this for a reason. He's not just doing it because he wants to. There is a reason behind why Godzilla is destroying cities and all that kind of stuff. And that is because in the next shot we have like a research board with a global map, and we have like a bunch of newspaper articles, we have a bunch of photos and sticky notes, and on this stuff it gives evidence to why Godzilla is doing this, mainly on the sticky notes. And the theory is that Godzilla may be hunting down Apex, and that Godzilla knows something that Monarch doesn't. So, maybe he's hunting down, trying to find Mechagodzilla, and he knows that they're building Mechagodzilla, or maybe he's hunting down the Ghidorah head, or maybe it's both Mechagodzilla and the Ghidorah head, and the Mechagodzilla and Ghidorah head are connected. It has to do something with Godzilla and Apex. And also, there's another theory that possibly Godzilla is controlling Apex, but I believe that this other theory is much more believable. Also, the other big theory is that Mechagodzilla is disguising himself as Godzilla, which I don't think is the case, because that just really takes away the feeling of Godzilla versus Kong. So, I mean, if that was the case, that would be a really disappointing reveal, to be honest. I know that most people are agreeing to this theory because they don't want Godzilla to be the bad guy, but, I mean, there's very hard evidence that this Godzilla is the legitimate Godzilla. One, in scenes of the trailer, Godzilla is, spilling blood from his mouth by being punched by Kong. So, yeah. But if that does end up being the case, yeah, that will be pretty disappointing, in my opinion. Other people might be like, oh, thank God Godzilla's not the bad guy, but I don't know. That'd just be I don't want to say it's stupid, because I don't want to upset anyone to think that I'm calling anyone stupid, but for thinking that. But I just don't think it's a good theory, if I'm being completely honest. But I could be wrong. That could actually be the case, but I'm just saying that would be pretty disappointing. Next shot we have is of Kong arriving into the Hollow Earth, which is said to be Kong's true home, which is interesting. I think the Hollow Earth looks absolutely amazing. A lot more different than I thought it was going to look like. It's kind of like there's like the world. It's like a world under Earth, but there's also like an ecosystem on the top of like the ceiling of the Hollow Earth, I guess is what you could say, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if there's anything that lives up there. I would imagine probably like winged creatures, possibly like the Kamzats, which we do end up most likely seeing later in the trailer that we'll discuss. And next we learn that Godzilla and Kong have an ancient rivalry, which is pretty interesting. And they like have a war between their kind. So I'd imagine this fight is going to end up ending their war. And this is obvious, giving evidence that this is Kong's true home, because we have like a kind of like a cave painting handprint of another Kong print, which is very close to the same size as Kong's. So Kong's ancestors have grown to his size. So we can guess that his parents weren't fully grown. We can probably assume that Kong's parents were most likely young adults, and Kong now is a like old adult, and he's probably in, I don't know, maybe his 50s if he was a human. So that's what I would guess. Though it doesn't, obviously Kong being in his 50s, he's still being able to do everything he's able to do. He's not like, I got back problems. And then the next shot we have is an awesome shot of Kong wielding the battle axe. And he lifts it up and he's roaring. And this seems that the battle axe is actually made from one of Kong's ancestors, like he built it. And it seems that the dorsal fin, because this is obviously a Godzilla dorsal fin, is actually from one of Godzilla's ancestors. So that's pretty cool. And another interesting to notice here is that the axe glows red, which is going to be interesting how they explain that. Unless they don't explain it, then that'll just be confusing. So, mystery. Next we have is our first live action look at the Warbats. They look amazing. I really like the way the Warbats look. They're ginormous. They're really big. And the shot, I like the way the shot looks. This is probably my favorite, shot of the trailer. One of my favorites, if not my favorite shot of the trailer. And, I think Godzilla vs. Kong may be the most visually stunning MonsterVerse movie to me. Mainly because of the Hollow Earth, because I don't know, I think they just done the Hollow Earth really well. Because it's obviously not a place that is realistic, so they kind of built it themselves to, map it out of how, the Hollow Earth, fictional Hollow Earth kind of situation. And I think they did a really good job on making the Hollow Earth, so props to them. And also, a thing to notice is Warbats have green blood, so that's cool. Next shot we have is a pan-up shot from the battle axe towards Kong. We again see the red glow here, and also we see Godzilla in the background roaring at Kong. This is a daylight scene, and this city looks like completely destroyed. So I think this takes place after the nighttime fight in Hong Kong. I'm not sure how they get to this point. Maybe they keep on fighting, or maybe the explosion that we see happen later in the trailer causes them to get knocked out, and then they wake up and it's daytime. And then the next shot we have is Kong. Again, he's in the city and it's daytime, so this might be in a same scenario, but this is obviously a different kind of time from the previous shot because the lighting is different. But it does seem here that Kong is looking about to be getting into another fight. This is possibly when Mechagodzilla shows up. So he's getting ready to fight Mechagodzilla. Maybe he won against Godzilla, so maybe Godzilla is knocked out, and then Mechagodzilla comes and fights Kong, and then then Godzilla shows up and helps Kong, and then the team up kind of situation, because Mechagodzilla is what Godzilla's been looking for. So Godzilla's like, I knew it. And next we have is another shot back to the Hollow Earth. We have a look at possibly baby Kamzats flying down from the ceiling area, which is pretty interesting. And I think that if this is baby Kamzats, I think this is really cool because we don't really see any things from the comics into the movies. So I think this is really cool that they're bringing something from the comic into the movie. And then we see some sort of giant Godzilla engraving into the ground. And there's also some sort of pillar that seems to maybe have fell from the sky, or the ceiling area that the Hollow Earth has. And then it kind of zooms in on Kong's face. This may be the time in the movie where Kong finds the axe and then is, yeah, I got the battle axe, and it roars and all that kind of stuff. And then we have a shot of Kong beating on Godzilla, but with both fists this time. And then this shot, we see Godzilla bleeding again. But I don't have an image of Godzilla bleeding. I could possibly find an image, but I would have to get a more HD version, I'd have to do a bunch of other stuff. So I don't know. I might not because I'm lazy, but do trust me that there is blood there because I did see it firsthand. And it's an interesting thing to note that Godzilla doesn't like really get any hits on Kong in this trailer, besides kind of like the sneak attack that he did on Kong. So I wonder if the next trailer, if we assume that there is going to be another trailer, that one's going to be more Godzilla focused. I would hope that's the case, because if it's just Kong beating on Godzilla, I feel like that would upset a lot of Godzilla fans who are just Godzilla fans and they don't care about Kong, and there are a lot of them. So I mean, it would have been nice to see Godzilla actually doing something. Godzilla did still look pretty cool in this trailer. Just it would have been nice to see Godzilla do some hits back at Kong, because Godzilla did do some attacks at Kong, but nothing really hurt Kong. Though we do see a scene later of Kong kind of burnt a little bit, so Godzilla does actually hit Kong in the movie, so that is a guarantee. And then we have the final shot of the trailer where Kong is sprinting towards Godzilla, and he's carrying the battle axe, and Godzilla looks really mad here. He's like, "Bring it on!" And then Kong kind of jumps onto a building, then jumps off of it, and Kong really gets a lot of height here because he jumps really high. And then Godzilla shoots his atomic breath at Kong. And a thing to notice here that kind of makes the axe theory a bit confusing is that one of Godzilla's dorsal fins is broken, but I don't think that the dorsal fin being broken is part of the axe. I still think that the axe was made by an ancient Kong, and that just in the fight of where Godzilla is fighting Kong, Godzilla just ends up losing part of his dorsal fin. Or maybe the axe gets destroyed and Kong remakes it with Godzilla's dorsal fin, which would be interesting, but I don't really think that's what's going to happen. I think just Godzilla just ends up breaking one of his dorsal fins. And then, continuing onto the scene, there's a slow motion of Kong blocking Godzilla's attack with the dorsal fin part of the axe, and the dorsal fin on the axe seems to absorb the atomic breath, because Kong moves it and it moves with the axe, so the atomic breaths have some sort of attraction to the axe. And then we have a close-up shot of Kong, which looks really, really, really good. This is probably, one of the best shots that we had of, CGI-wise of Kong. And then we have the final shot of the trailer, the final seconds of the trailer, where Kong just slams the axe into Godzilla's head, causing an explosion. This is obviously not going to be the final blow that Kong does on the Godzilla if we assume that Kong actually wins. Because we can see Godzilla's head kind of he obviously gets hit by it and probably hurt, but I feel like this also hurts Kong too because of the explosion, but obviously it hurts Godzilla more. But it's going to be interesting to know what happens in this movie, and that's the end of the trailer. Obviously in this trailer it is way, way focused on Kong than it is Godzilla, and I think that's going to be the thing for the movie, is that this is going to be more of a Kong movie than it is a Godzilla movie, which makes sense because we already have 2 Godzilla movies that are focused on Godzilla, and we only have 1 movie that is focused on Kong, so this is essentially Kong's second movie, so it's going to be more focused on Kong, but also Godzilla is going to be there. So I don't know if we're going to have like any Godzilla focused scenes. I would imagine that we might, but I can't say for sure because I absolutely don't know. But hopefully we see more of what Godzilla does in the movie. If we have any more footage that comes out, which hopefully, if I'm being honest, that we don't, because I don't want anything else to come out. But if there does, maybe it'll be more Godzilla focused. If there actually another trailer 2, which if there is another trailer, I think that'll drop late February or maybe early March. So we'll just have to wait until then. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown. I might do a theory video sometime in the future about discussing some theories for Godzilla vs. Kong. But I don't know. I don't really discuss theories too much, so I might not. And also, I'm pretty busy doing a bunch of other stuff. Doing these videos was pretty difficult, so yeah, I'm glad to get this over with. And the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer is awesome. I'll probably watch it a few more times just to enjoy myself. And I'm super excited for this movie. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.